Hello, all my dear chickadees. Welcome back to the nest. Today we're going to be playing another visual novel, but this one is a demo slash prologue. It's called You and Him, as you can see here, and it's about apparently you meet a strange hitchhiker. And I don't know what happens past there. That's why we're here. Okay, well, we're just gonna dive on in, as always. Oh, look, it's like little... Oh, that's really cool. I like that. The knife through the apple. That's a nice touch. Now, it does have some screen shaking from what I gather from the warnings, which is right before the title screen. So I did want to warn you guys about that. If any of you are sensitive to screen shaking and or things like that, please beware. Okay. Gone without a trace, Emma Jane Lee. Emma Jane Lee, 23, went missing last Friday night on June 16th after she went out clubbing with a group of friends. Her friends last spotted her walking down North Street, heading to the direction of her apartment. Her family filed a missing person report after they couldn't get in contact with her. When her boss became concerned and notified the family that she hadn't shown up for work. Middle of nowhere, 3:32 p.m. In other news, the hit boy band Cake will be playing live tomorrow night at the Santa Alley Stadium in Park Bend, Arizona. Cake? That's a pretty good name, guys. According to our sources, concert tickets sold out within seconds of their initial online release date, despite the fact that the massive influx of these users caused the website itself to crash. That sounds kind of familiar. Luckily, they managed to get the site up and running again, but many people were upset since they were forced to log back in, and many missed out on buying tickets because of this. Thousands took to Twilighter to vent their frustrations, while others made light of the situation by making and sharing memes. Yep. This sounds 100% plausible so far, guys. Many of these posts went viral and got Santa Alley Stadium trending for 3 days straight on Twilighter itself. The DJ lets out a huff of breath. I can't believe what I'm seeing in these reports. Can you, Kenny? The car's radio crackles and a new voice joins in on the conversation, his tone coming across both as jovial and borderline cartoonish. Not in the slightest, and I'm just as stunned as you are. It's fascinating to see these young men who started from modest backgrounds rise to take the world by storm. I don't think I've seen a boy band this crazed this bad since the 90s, and we're early 2010s. But I don't think those even compare to what we're seeing today. Don't you agree, Bob? We all know that they're talking about the 90s. They're talking about NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Bob, the first radio DJ who spoke, let out a giant guffaw. Oh boy, is that an understatement. Even my husband endorsed their latest hit single, The Way You Make Me Sway, which is saying something. I thought your husband hated modern day music. My point exactly. If they can make my husband love their sound, then you know that they got something special that old men like him and I can't even ignore. When they start playing Cake's latest signal, you turn down the dial on the radio, choosing instead to focus on the long stretch of road before you. Well, I guess we're not a fan of Cake, right? The blistering heat already makes it hard to concentrate, and you don't need the added distraction. Especially considering you've driven almost 323 miles thanks to your aunt's plea to gather up all your uncle's valuables and drop them off at his new apartment in the next 6 towns over, and are now on the return drive home sans guns. Oh my gosh, we had to drive 323 miles to take our uncle guns. Yep, this definitely takes place in America, guys. You tried turning her down, but your mom called you and forced you to agree. Something about being a good niece and mentions of past actions where your aunt almost didn't treat you like dirt and yada yada yada. Okay, gonna stop for a second. Where it says a good niece, that's actually a typo. I did read that on the page that our gender is supposed to be neutral. Like, we can be a boy if we want, we could be a girl if we want, and that was a typo, and they hadn't gone back to fix it yet. So, we are not a niece. Well, we can be, but I'm gonna say that we are male, because we always play as males. But I'm not saying it just to say it. That's actually a typo on the game page, and they hadn't went back and fixed it yet. Just so you know. At that point, you just wanted to hang up and go back to your hermit crab lifestyle. So you agreed and took an obscene amount of guns from your aunt to give to your uncle. Due to the terms and conditions of their divorce, the judge ruled that since your aunt's got ownership of the house, your aunt needed to fork over her collection of guns and hand them over to your uncle. Getting the aforementioned guns out of her house was a nightmare. The woman kept screaming every time you loaded the guns into your car. You had to restrain her while she kept trying to lunge for your truck, saying he wouldn't know if one or two were missing. Ooh. Well, I take it none of them was loaded at the moment. When you refused to budge on the matter, she became inconsolable and ran inside the house, shutting herself in the bathroom for a solid 20 minutes before you needed to leave. When she returned, her demeanor turned to normal. Well, at least for her. Relatives are weird, man. Speaking of weird, how long was this stretch of road again? You could have sworn it was a heck of a lot shorter the first go-round. Not to mention you need to pee. You regret not stopping by the gas station 50 miles back, actively choosing to ignore the huge warning signs that said next gas station in 100 miles. Ooh, we really need to pee, but we have 50 more miles to go for the next gas station. It sounds like we're gonna make a pit stop off the side of the road and hide behind a cactus. A terrible decision considering your current state of your bladder. You mull over your lack of options when something in the distance catches your attention. As your car eats up the distance between you, you make the shape of a large, lumbering figure walking along the side of the road, with their thumb jutted out and raised above their head. Huh. What's a hitchhiker doing all the way out here? Your bladder quakes. Never mind, you don't have time for this. Not to mention the fact that your mother always warned you about shaky hitchhikers. There's a lot of horror stories about hitchhikers, guys. Letting this man into your car reeks of future trouble. Best to avoid a situation like that altogether. When you pull right up behind him, you notice a distinct limp to his walk and blood blooming out from under his pant leg. Seeing his injury causes guilt to settle in. He's clearly hurt and needs help, and there's no one else around but you. You wrestle with your options when he suddenly collapses into a heap on the side of the road. Shit. Here goes your self-preservation. You park just a ways ahead of him and launch out of the driver's seat, praying to God you don't believe. Praying to God you don't believe in, then he's okay. When you reach him, you fall to your knees and gently nudge his shoulder, only to garner no response. Hello! Look! This could be my long-lost brother, guys! He is cute. You know, purple's my thing. He's a cutie. Oh, he's got a little scar above his eyebrow. Come on, please be okay. You lean down and press your head against his chest. You feel it rise and fall and the sound of a faint heartbeat. Good. He's still breathing. You sit back up and try gently shaking his shoulder again. Sir? Sir, can you hear me? He's also conscious. Another good sign. Don't worry, sir. I'm gonna call for help, okay? You pull out your cell phone, ready to dial the emergency helpline, when a hand latches onto your wrist in a vice-like grip and the man beneath you adjusts himself into a sitting position. You're taken aback by the man's fierce gaze glaring at you through a veil of raven-colored hair. Raven? So it's supposed to be black hair? It looks purple to me. Now, I like the purple hair, but black would also suit him really well. And that is a fierce look. Don't call anyone. I'm fine. Yes, but nails dig into your forearm. Not enough to draw blood, but enough to warn you he means business. I said I'm fine. Okay. Can we save? Yes. Haha. Okay. Don't call or call. We're gonna call. You wrench your arm out of his grasp and dial for help anyway. He's insane if you thinks you're just gonna let this whole thing slide. He's clearly injured and definitely needs a dressing for that wound on his leg. You yank your arm out of his grasp and press the phone to your ear before standing up, turning your back to the man as you glare at the sun beating down at you. Could it be any hotter? An operator picks up. Hello, what is your She's cut off mid-sentence when that hitchhiker plucks the phone out of your hands and drops it to the ground. He crushes the device under a scuffed boot, hands in his pockets, looking almost bored as he does so. Hey, no, that was ours. Once he's done destroying the phone you worked 3 years in customer service to pay off, oh, he's gonna die. Yeah, you're gonna die. Why? We worked 3 freaking years to pay off that phone? Yep. You signed your death warrant, dude. He runs a hand through his hair and reveals an all too similar smile. You recognize those features that spanned across multiple blogs on the internet stratosphere, from his gleaming white teeth, which were a perfect advertisement for the 10 toothpaste commercials he sponsored, to the scar on his eyebrow that fangirls obsessed over. The lead singer of Cake, Adam. Well, we found the boy band leader. Hello, Adam. Why are you out here, hurt, in the middle of the desert? Where's your band? You open your mouth to comment, wondering how a man like him ended up here, when he rushes forward and plunges something into your shoulder. You're caught off guard, his momentum pushing you backwards, and your head cracks painfully against the asphalt. The man stands over you for a moment. He wipes the blood off his knife by using his shirt as a makeshift handkerchief. He smiles cruelly as he crawls over your collapsed body with a predatory gleam in his eyes, thighs boxing in your hips, trapping you underneath him as his hand pins your wrist over your head. Oh, look at that smirk. Oh, goodness. Did you kill your bandmates, sir? Did you kill your bandmates? That is my question. You watch as he reaches into his back pocket to reveal a phone of his own. He taps something on the screen and all of a sudden, you're blinded by light. You try blinking the stars out of your eyes, confused by what just occurred. Shoot, I left the flash on. Sorry about that. This son of a bitch. You kick your legs and buck your hips in a valiant effort to toss him off your body, throwing your weight around in hope that you'll catch him off balance, but he doesn't seem fazed in the slightest. He took our picture, didn't he? You give up after exhausting yourself. Damn it all. Once you've settled, Adam taps his phone screen again, and this time there's no blinding light. He stares at the picture he just took for a moment, nods to himself, then shoves his phone into his back pocket, satisfied by whatever he sees. You've got a pretty photogenic face. These pictures will print out great, don't you think? Dude. No. I don't think so. We don't need to be, like, a picture on your wall, no. You try spitting in his face, but it misses by a landslide. Aw, that wasn't very nice. Nice went out the window when you stabbed me. Maybe I wouldn't have stabbed you if you listened to me and hung up the phone. Yeah, right. You get the distinct feeling that he's lying through his teeth. You don't peg him as the honest type, considering he's probably got a bunch of skeletons in his closet if he's attacking strangers for shit and giggles. What did you want my photo for? Scrapbooking? His face darkens at your retort. How is that any of your business? Surely he's joking. You look at his tense expression. Nope, he's 100% serious. But at least he's not cutting you open like a slab of meat. Well, yet. Yet. That is the key word. Yet. If you can keep him talking, maybe you'll find a way out of this mess. A Christmas present for your dear old mom and dad, then? Don't talk about my mother. Oh? Does he have mommy issues? No, maybe he has daddy issues. Better yet, maybe both. What about your dad? Can we talk about him? Adam considers you a moment, obviously confused by your cavalier attitude despite the current situation, but is curious enough to see where this leads. What do you want to know about him? Does he snore like a boar? Did he play catch with you as a kid? Does he barbecue and watch football on Sundays? Does he make corny dad jokes? What does he do for a living? Okay, to answer your questions in order. No, no, yes, no. And he's a preacher for my hometown church back in Tennessee. Of course he's from Tennessee. Of course. I have nothing against Tennessee. I've lived there before. So, just saying, of course it ends up being Tennessee. Okay. Huh. A fan of the big guy in the sky, eh? I'm guessing you went to church a lot as a kid. Adam considers you for a moment. Huh. So that's your ankle. I'm sorry? Oh. Phew. You gasp as his nails dig into the wounded shoulder. Tears prick at the corner of your eyes, threatening to spill over, and you have to bite your lip to keep them in place. No way. Will you let this man get the self-satisfaction of seeing you cry? You want to keep me talking until you can think of an escape plan. Is that it? Well, I'm sorry to inform you, but that won't happen. We're alone. I'm armed with a knife, and this highway is almost always deserted. Very few cars drive along this highway, and the only reason people tend to travel here is for nefarious means or out of sheer desperation, but it's almost always the latter. I would know. I scoped this place ahead of time. He gives you a sadistic grin. But you know what? Why not? I'll play this game for a little while longer. It could be fun, after all, giving you that small sliver of hope that someone might pass by and rescue you from your fate. Speaking of fate, let's talk about something related to that. Destiny itself. Don't worry. I promise this all circles back to my father. Now let's see. He pauses for a moment to gather his thoughts before he begins talking again. My dad. It's funny. Despite being religious and believing in the power of free will, my father also thinks that destiny plays a big role in our everyday lives. He always says that while some things are in our control, other things are milestones made by God to teach us pivotal life lessons, planned far in advance. A test of sorts, you could say. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. He digs his nails deeper into your wound and you bite your lips so hard it bleeds. Tell me something. Do you believe in destiny? Okay, let's save again. Look at the difference. This one's blood splatter. Okay. Yes, lie, no, honest. Let's say no. Mom always said honesty was the best policy, no matter the circumstances. Sure, it might get you killed here, but he's probably already planning on doing that anyway. We have a point. No. You admit through clenched teeth. Especially when people like you exist. What sick, mystical bullshit would send me to someone like you as a test? He stares down at you for a moment, dissecting you with his eyes. You feel like one of those dead frogs they use in biology class to teach teenagers how bodies work and function, with your limbs all splayed out and pinned at your side, ripe for organ harvesting. You wait for him to slice you wide open in response to giving the wrong answer, but to your surprise, he doesn't. Funny. I thought you tried to lie and appease me. Typically when I ask someone a question after they find out their life's on the line, They try and fit their answer to one they think I like. How many times have you done this, son? I, however, find honesty to be one of the most honorable traits a person can have. In fact, I prefer your honesty, even if our views differ. So, you believe in destiny. Why does that not surprise me? Oh, I don't. I was just curious to see how you'd answer. You wanted to get to know me, after all. Even if it is just to buy you time, I figured I'd still extend the same courtesy. Normally, I don't let my guard down and talk about my father like this. Aren't you happy? This shows how special you are to me. Wow, narcissistic much? Oh, I bet you say this to all your victims. His eyes narrow at your sarcasm, but you continue on because you can't stop yourself. I truly am the luckiest person alive. I don't deserve you or your kindness. You really aren't like the other serial killers. Oh, He reclaims his knife and buries it deep into your shoulder, effectively cutting you off. When he withdraws the blade, he examines the fresh blood coating his knife and frowns. I appreciate honesty to an extent, but you'd fare better if you kept your mouth shut. Make me. A childish retort in the grand scheme of things, but you'll be damned if he's getting the last word in edgewise. You watch as he angles the blade, lifting it high overhead before bringing it down toward your sternum with the most cold-blooded expression. You have to think quickly and throw him off his guard to ensure your survival. Oh, okay. Claw his eyes or kiss him. Well, our hands are pinned down, so we can't really get our hands up, so kiss him. You grit your teeth through the pain, but it's the first thing that comes to mind. Before he can react, you grab him by the scruff of his shirt. Okay, apparently we can move our hands. And pull him down. Caught off balance, he drops his knife and braces his hands on the ground, unable to avoid your awaiting mouth. His dark eyes go comically wide as your lips touch. Look at him blush. He goes still for a total of 2 seconds, which doesn't give you enough time to grab the knife and aim for the jugular. You expect him to shove you away, scrub his mouth clean of you, and drive his knife down in disgust. What you don't expect is for him to return your kiss with desperate urgency. His mouth slides against yours, softening to the equivalent of melted butter, urging you to open your mouth with his. He's shaking uncontrollably like a leaf caught in the wind. He's a man who sought thrill from murder, but from the looks of it, he hasn't experienced much, if any, intimate interaction. He found an undeniable weakness. He's so distracted, eyelids fluttering shut in pure unabashed pleasure, that you take the opportunity to use your other hand to search for his knife. Your hands swipe over the dirt and rock and asphalt until your hand manages to land on the hilt of the blade. You make sure you have a firm grasp and you lodge the knife deep into his side. He cries out, rolling off your body, clearly not understanding what just happened. Free of his weight, you could take the golden opportunity to sprint towards your car. We stabbed him! In the side, too. He calls after you, but you don't look back. Hopping into the driver's side, you rev your engine and floor it, pressing pedal to the metal. You see him limping after you in the rearview mirror and watch as he grows smaller before disappearing completely. Adrenaline pumps through your veins, heart struggling against your ribcage. For hours on the drive back to your town, you check your rearview mirror to see if he managed to somehow teleport into your back seat, afraid he'll finish the job. I'm okay now, you say when you see your hometown on the horizon. I'm okay. Elsewhere, 9:30 p.m. He got away. Adam manages to return to his hotel room without much trouble after calling in a few favors. We got him good. He's lucky you didn't hit anything vital. Just a flesh wound that he managed to stitch together himself. What a badass. The action of pushing a needle through skin like a second nature thanks to practicing on previous victims. He lies back on the king-size mattress, spent from walking under the crisp sun and getting hurt to boot. The sheets feel cool and oddly ticklish beneath him. Everything feels ticklish since that kiss from hours earlier, like his nerve endings are standing on end, hypersensitive to everything he touches. He absent-mindedly strokes his own bottom lip. He can still taste you. The shape of your body pressed against his, and the way you moved under him ingrained in his memory, a permanent stamp on his consciousness. He wants to see you again, to touch you, to kiss you, to claim you, to mark you. Unworn images of you invade his mind, graphic depictions of your body entwined, fooling his lust and causing his hand to dip down in response. Alright, we awakened something in him, for sure, so I think he's got something else to add to his repertoire. He slowly unbuttoned his jeans, unable to take much more of this corrosive heat, needing to get you out of his system when a woman's face flashes behind his eyelids. She stares at him in disappointment, tears cascading down her cheeks and over her cuts and scars. She shakes her head. Just like him, she mouths. Adam gasps and rips his hand away, tears prickling at the corner of his eyes in frustration. I'm sorry. Your face flashes behind his eyelids, the sun illuminating your frame like an angel descending from the heavens. Stop it. You pull him down again. You kiss him. Enough. He chokes out a sob and curls into a fetal position, wishing he could bleed you out of his pores and untaint himself. But you left your mark. If he wants to get rid of this fever, this disease burning within him, he needs to find the source and destroy it. Adam calms himself down by taking a deep breath and letting a plan formulate in his mind. As long as he focuses on the future task at hand, he can handle this odd feeling overwhelming him and carrying out what he needs doing. When he opens his eyes, they shine with a determined light, and he promises himself he will find you again. Good end? Okay. Okay, so the woman he saw, I'm assuming, is his mother, and said so apparently what it sounds like is, or what I gather is, his father was abusive towards the mother in possibly more than one way, and so he was seeing her in his mind being disappointed in him. But we got the good end? ? And he is coming to find us. Uh-oh. Hello, kitty. Kitty decides to come in here and visit. But there's more than one ending, so I am going to try to find the other endings. Just, let's see. Okay, let's start. What happens? Huh. See what happens when we clawed his eyes. Okay, hang on. You lurch forward as far as you can and try to jab your thumbs into his eyes. He scoffs and easily grabs your wrist, pinning your hands above your head in one swift moment, using his weight against you. You're nose to nose, and you can see flecks of gold in those psychotic eyes of his. He's grinning like a madman. Never pegged you for the violent type. It's not really becoming of you, if I'm to be honest, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't expecting it. You struggle to breathe with the full weight of his chest bearing down on yours. He's enjoying your weak attempts to hold him off. Okay, that's actually a lie. I expected you to cry first, and then fight back when the crying didn't work. How about it? Why don't you cry for me? You gasp as something sharp drills into your side, shifting back and forward. Oh no. Tears prick at the corner of your eyes as you hear the sound of your flesh being sliced into like a butcher cutting into meat. Oh no, he got another wound. You're trembling from both adrenaline and the knowledge that you aren't making it out of this alive. Oops. Too late. Guess I have no choice but to gut you up like the violent pig you are. Hold still, okay? He drives his knife down the center of your body, starting from your chest and slicing all the way down to your belly button in one swift motion. Agony rips through you like a bolt of catastrophic lightning, vision turning pure white. You try blinking to clear out your vision, but find your eyelids aren't cooperating. No part of your body operates like it should. You know. Adam's voice flitters through the field of white. I almost thought you were interesting, maybe a little bit cute, but that vicious personality of yours changed my mind. You feel him adjust himself over your limp body, and can only assume he's lifting the knife again. I'm glad to rid the world of a violent person like you. The blade buries itself into your chest, past your ribs, and pierces straight through your heart. The world goes quiet, and you fade into the white. Bad end, violent. Yep. Okay, so we got 2 endings. I'm pretty sure there's got to be another ending, right? So for this one, I want to start back here. This time we're going to not call. You lower your phone, exiting out of the phone app without a second glance at the screen. Alright, but at least let me take a look at your leg. He visibly relaxes at your compliant nature and nods, leaning back so you can roll up his pant legs and examine the damage lying underneath. Blood coats the wound on his leg. You can't even see the extent of the injury when there's so much. You need to clean it off. Wait right here. You head for your car and locate the box cutter knife hidden underneath your driver's seat. Cutting off the bottom half of your shirt, you grab the once cold but now warm water bottle you brought with you for your mini road trip, and took it and use it to soak the stray piece of fabric. I had a hard time getting that sentence out, guys. Get me a drink of water, too. You toss your box cutter back into the driver's seat before returning to the hitchhiker. The hitchhiker looks up upon hearing your approaching footsteps. You watch as his eyes widen into the equivalent of large saucers. His lips slightly parted in surprise as his gaze zeroes in on the new patch of exposed skin. Okay, Adam, our eyes are up here. Focus. He studies the shape of your body, tracing over each and every part of you with his new eyes. You grow flustered at the attention, but you also don't hate it. It's nice in a way. You're a little disappointed when he averts his gaze, wondering if you misinterpreted the situation until he bites at his bottom lip as if he's done something naughty. Your heart flutters at the implications. And he probably got beat to a pulp by his religious dad when he was younger. His reaction's kind of cute. You lower yourself to his level and try to ignore the blush spreading across your own cheeks. He's really attractive. A fact that you couldn't help but notice when you rushed to his side and saw the intense expression like an arrow striking through your helpless little heart. Well, be careful on what you say. It might be a knife and not an arrow soon. But that's not the only thing that garnered your attention. This hitchhiker is Adam, the lead singer of Cake. What's he doing all the way out here in the middle of nowhere? So, I couldn't help but notice this, but you're Adam, right? The hitchhiker hesitates before nodding. Okay, so, I don't mean to sound rude, but what are you doing all the way out here? Asking strangers for rides? Adam rubs the back of his head, almost sheepish in his answer. I accidentally drove my car into a ditch a few miles back, and I forgot my phone at the studio. Liar! So I couldn't really reach out and call anyone. Figured on the off chance that someone drove by, I could bum a ride. He smiles then. Guess I got lucky you showed up when you did. You're a lifesaver. You're almost blinded by that smile. No wonder his fangirls go crazy. Yeah, he looks cute here. He looks cute and innocent, but we know the truth. Urging your pounding heart to calm down, You try concentrating on the conversation at hand and get started on cleaning his leg. You need to focus. Oh, was the crash how you got hurt? Adam shakes his head. Cut my thigh open while hiking with my friends a couple of weeks ago. One of the tree branches was a little too sharp and gave me this as a souvenir. The doctor stitched me up, but I guess it tore back open since I started walking. He chuckled to himself. I didn't even notice, if you can believe it. You're surprised to hear this considering he's got a performance going on later tomorrow night. Surely he should let it heal before going back on stage. Well, hopefully when I drive you back to town, we can get you a doctor and get it taken care of. I'm sorry I can't do anything else in the meantime. Don't worry. You've been a big help. You flush at his praise. The smoothness of his voice and the way that he says that make you feel things you haven't felt in a long time. In places you haven't felt in a long time. Ooh, we attract it to his innocent act here. You attempt to focus on the task at hand, wiping away the thick, congealed blood, but it's hard to concentrate when all you can think about is the fact that your hands are near his thighs and, oh gosh, you're turning beet red from the thought alone. Nibbling at your bottom lip, you peer up at him and find his gaze locked into your hands with blistering intensity. You can't tell if he wants to rip your hands off his leg or guide them towards other, more intimate places. The heat warming your body desires the latter. Something wrong? His gaze suddenly flips upwards and you jump, flustered that he caught you staring. Nothing, just a little dazed is all, probably because of the heat. Yeah, you know, the heat. You duck your head and redirect your attention downward, ignoring the horny little devil inside of you. Since you're back on track, you didn't notice this before, but the blood on his leg is a bit weird. It chips and peels away like dried paint instead of smearing. What the? Is it paint? Okay, hang on. I'm gonna fix my model here. Boop. There we go. All better. I think my cat moved it when he jumped up on the table earlier, so sorry about that, guys. We're gonna continue. Is it paint? But what the? No! Dude, we were being so nice. Come on. The man withdraws a small silver knife tucked into the waistband of his jeans and lunges at you. You don't even have a spare moment to react before he drives the weapon into your chest. Chest? It was a shoulder before. Confusion and terror battle in your mind. Adrenaline pumps through your veins as you try to fight him off. You scratch at his chest, face, anywhere you can dig your nails into, but he scoffs and pins your arms down with his knees. You watch in horror as he plunges a knife into your exposed chest again and again. Dude, you don't even have the time to ask why as the world goes dark. Bad end 1, 2 promiscuous. Okay, he did not like us being spicy. Okay, let's see. So, that was a dead end. Let's see if we can do anything with this one. We said no before. Let's see what happens when we say yes. You lie, thinking your answer will appease him. Yes. The corner of his lips kick upwards for a moment. You think you answered the question correctly. That is, until he withdraws his knife again. Adam leans close, lips brushing against your earlobe in a low, seductive voice. You're lying. He shifts back to his original kneeling position and drags the knife along your neck in one swift, practiced motion. Blood spills down your chest, soaked up by the ground underneath you. Your body convulses, fighting for survival, legs kicked out in a frantic effort to stave off the sudden lack of oxygen. But there's so much blood, and the man sitting on top of you watches with some sort of sick fascination while your life slips away by the second. There's not an ounce of regret reflected in those eyes of his. The only person who could save you now is yourself. You try to lift your arms to press your palms against the wound, but you're so weak that he's able to easily pin your arms at your sides and tuts like a teacher disappointed with a rebellious student for acting out against their wishes. Now, there's no use fighting the inevitable. Just let it happen. He lets go of your wrist, and you have no choice but to obey. You don't have the strength for another attempt. You watch in resigned horror as the edges of your vision turn dark, like the edges of a letter being burned and leaving nothing but black ash in their wake. You whimper in fear, and he shushes you, pressing a finger to your lips. It's okay. This is a natural part of the process. It'll be over soon. And besides, there's a place for liars such as yourself in the afterlife. At least according to my father. But I can't speak for whether or not that's true. But hey, look at it this way. At least you'll fit right in. That in too. Liar, liar. We have to have gotten all the endings by now, right? Because there's only been 3 choices. And we did both of these, and both of these. So, I believe we got all of the choices. So, all 3 endings, or actually it might have been 4 endings. But, wow, that was fun. It was really well written, too. Adam needs some help. He needs a lot of help. Does his bandmates know he's like this, or does he just get the urge and sneaks off every now and then to go murder somebody to, get rid of his urges to kill, I guess? That is a very good question. Well, this is both a demo for the game and a prologue, because I read that what takes place in this demo, which I'm guessing the first ending we got, where he was in the hotel room and he was going to come after us. I'm betting that is actually going to lead into the full game when it gets released, which I will have it on my watch list. I will be looking out for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down below what you think. And, as always, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!